Morning everybody, it is just after 4 in the morning and we're about to get milking started on our dairy here in central Saskatchewan. We milk about 300 cows twice a day. I'm just gonna get the parlor into milking mode and then we gotta get some cows into our holding area and we'll be able to get started milking. We're grabbing group 1 and bringing them up into the parlor. We house our cows in what's called a freestall barn, which means that there's a bunch of free stalls that the cows can move in and out of. And a couple of key features about our freestall barn, we actually use sand bedding, which is different from some guys. They use sawdust or chopped straw. And our sand barn is also tunnel ventilated, which means the front of the barn is completely open and the back there's a bunch of fans that pull the air through. Gotta get the last of these ladies in the holding area, but on the way to the front, we're gonna rake the beds. This is the rake we use to scrape any manure that's in the beds. They always crap on the back foot or so when they do. You guys can see how far I'm walking right now to get the first paddy. I'd say that's probably 15 beds, which is about right. If you get too many cows crapping in the beds, you can adjust this neck rail, which will stop the cows from going so far into the bed, and then they will just hang their butts a little bit further over this ledge and they won't crap in the beds. Oh, and one big one at the back here. Cows are in the holding area. You can see they're fitting pretty nicely right now. We gotta drop the crowd gate down once it's loaded. We always load with that crowd gate up because it comes about 2 feet forward. And we loaded one time with it down, 2 cows went behind it. Doesn't really matter, you just gotta chase them backwards, but might as well take it out of their way. We're all done scraping and cleaning group 1. We let the cows back in. These are all ladies that are done being milked and they're just waiting to go back into their group. Got a few more to milk. This is the new pack barn from the higher ceiling onward that we built last summer. It's been working really good for us. This cow right here just had a baby. I can see it's a bull calf. So we're gonna go grab the wheelbarrow, pick this calf up, and then she's gonna be milked this morning for the first time. We have a group chat on the dairy farm and everyone that works here is in that group chat. So every time a cow calves, we enter it in. So this morning, 1261 calved bull. So that's what I'll put in that group chat. And then this helps us know who calved when and what they had. The milkers this afternoon, which probably are gonna be different than this morning, they'll know when that cow calved and how fresh she is for milking. And also for record keeping, for books, you can always see exactly when a cow calved. Go back in that group chat and kind of keep record like that. It's just a helpful way to keep track of everything, and that way everyone's on the same page on the dairy farm. Well, we're gonna grab that bull calf that just calved. So there's our nice little bull calf in his pen, alongside all the other new baby calves. there's always some vegan haters that'll, you know, comment on the video about the calves being taken away. The reality is there's a reason why you've been able to go to the grocery store for the last however many years, and there's always food there. There's, you know, 1,000 options in that store, and there's always food on the shelves. And the reason for that is because modern agriculture. You know, say what you want, once the world has enough food, they're gonna start to find smaller issues to complain about when they don't have to worry about where the next meal comes from. It's a pretty privileged place to be complaining from, and to start hacking away at the very foundation of that food source is kind of foolish, I think, but whatever, to each their own. Time for some coffee. This is the quality control test that you can't beat. It's pretty good. We're all done the morning chores in the barn. I'm gonna help Dad now take the duals off the sprayer and our Beulah Versatile, which is our sprayer tractor. So in the spring, when we're doing the burn off before we plant or seed, we always have the duals on there. Adds a bit of flotation. You know, it's always soft in the spring. You guys saw me get stuck with the manure wagon, and that helps you prevent getting stuck. But now you got to take them off when we're doing in crop. He wants to spray that rye field and kill some weeds in there, so we got to take the duals off. Versatile's got the same set on there. So that's what we're doing this morning. I think he's just gonna back it out, and we're gonna drive it on some blocks and use the cordless impact to try and take those duals off. Perfect. Does struggle with a few, but this thing's pretty tough, and it does go a little harder with a bigger battery. So we're gonna hook that sprayer up to it and take the duals off the sprayer.
I think we better bring it over there.
Oh, I think so. We have to. I was jumping on it.
Oh well.
You need to buy a bigger cordless impact.
Yeah, I think Sarah might donate it to the Kilster Holstein Foundation.
That's the Versatile in the sprayer without the duals on. All the wheels line up, so these three on this side and on this side as well, so you're compacting the least amount of crop as possible. I think 2 years ago now, we stanced the tires out on the tractor a lot more than it used to be, as well as on the tank. They used to be probably 6 inches more inward on both sides, and that made it a lot skinnier. It made a lot more sense for the tractor, like it looked a lot more normal. Now the tires are kind of really wide on it, but the tires on the tank were so far inward, and it was starting to get just too top heavy with those booms, and it was kind of really tippy going down the road when the tank was empty. So they decided, you know what, we're just going to stance everything out a bit more, make it a lot more stable. And now it's a lot nicer and a lot safer to drive down the road. They poured a bunch of concrete today on the farm for that feed mill setup, so we're gonna go check that out while we're letting the New Holland wheel loader warm up, because I want to start separating some plastic from the dirt by our silage pits. It's a mess over there. It's just a massive eyesore, so we want to start cleaning that up right now too. So these are some pads they poured today. Looking pretty good. There's the one right here. And then there's another one right up there. And I believe they poured the inside of that shed today as well. We'll check that out after. But this is gonna be a bin pad. So there's gonna be a bunch of bins standing right on here, 4 of them. There's gonna be a grain leg right there beside the shed. That's gonna be, I believe, a smaller grain leg, maybe 30, 40 foot tall. There's big piles that go deep into the ground under here just to make this a lot stronger. This pad is a lot thicker than this one. It's going to be, you know, holding the grain leg, so it's pretty strong, pretty heavy. Same as over here. This is going to be the big grain leg. So again, there's massive piles that go down into the ground and make this a lot sturdier. This pad's pretty thick as well, and then it kind of thins up over here again. You can see the different size of the framing wood there. And this is where there's going to be a conveyor. There's going to be bins on both sides of this pad, a conveyor that sticks out, and this is where B trains are going to be able to unload. That conveyor is going to have a hopper on there. It's going to be able to drive out, drive in, and back and forth, and that's how we're going to unload trucks. Tandem trucks like our silage trucks, or also B trains. And then actually just behind the bins over there on the south side of those bins is going to be where our scale is going to be. It's going to be about 100 feet long, I believe. So a full B train can pull up on there as well, just on the other side of those bins there. So it's coming along pretty nicely. You know, maybe 2 weeks from now, we'll start moving those bins, the first ones, over onto the concrete pad here. Just awesome to see this moving so quick. So that's a polishing machine, I guess. So as the concrete is drying up, there's a guy in here, and that thing just spins and makes the concrete really nice and smooth. This is a floor you always put in a shop and not in the cow barn. Cows would slip on this concrete, so you want it a lot rougher for cows. But for something like this, a storage shed, it's easy to broom clean. It's nice and smooth, nice to drive on. This is the floor you want in a shop, so it's looking good. So we're gonna have 3 mineral bins here, 4 grain bins that are coming out of the hammer mill right there, and then another 2 over there for our dried distiller's grain and our beet pulp. I better get to work though before it gets too dark, separating that silage plastic. So we're out where I want to clean the plastic up. You can see it's a mess. That's because along the edge of the silage pits, we just dump sand over top of the edges of the plastic to seal those pits up. Only on the dirt here, we don't do that for those bigger piles. It's all tires for those, but for these we always use sand on the edges, so much easier. But in the wintertime, all that sand freezes up. You can't just take it off nicely. So you cut right above the sand, and then you scrape the sand and the plastic together to the side, and you deal with it in the spring. What we always do, we just grab a bucket with the loader, drive forward, shake it out, try and separate all the sand and the plastic, and then afterwards you have to walk and pick it all up. Digging through some of the piles, there's a ton of ice and snow still under it all. Be good moisture spread over the field. Well, we went ahead and covered quite a big area with the sand and plastic mix, shaking it out. So now I gotta pick all the chunks of plastic out. I think I did a pretty good job separating the plastic and the sand and the ice and stuff. So I'm gonna start out by picking the bigger parts with the wheel loader, and then after we're gonna walk it, and then we'll scrape all of the leftover sand up onto a big fat pile. gonna start responding to some comments in the videos, pull them up here. So last video I posted, I got this comment right here. Yun, don't break anything else, poor sister. At least she didn't hit any walls. Very good, thanks for the great video and very good comment. You're absolutely not wrong. I hope to see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy, hit those like and subscribe buttons down below. It really helps the channel out, and I'll see you guys in the next one.